Tom, what's your take on this Queen's speech? I've spent the last half an hour with some people who really know their stuff trying to find aspects of this speech that will help people tackle the cost of living crisis now. We can't find any.
Well, certainly there are going to be a lot of proposals in this Queen's speech that look to the medium and the long term. So there are issues to do with levelling up, to do with house building, to do with growth strategy and indeed research and innovation. But none of those help with the immediate cost of living, which is why there's been some pretty widespread speculation that the Chancellor may well in the next coming weeks or indeed months have a new fiscal event, a statement that the Chancellor makes to the House of Commons with some further emergency package of measures to try and stave off what some think will be a recession next year. So that's potentially going to happen to do with the short term. But today, the Queen's speech was about the medium to long term plan for government. In many ways, this was the last big opportunity the government had to set out what it will do with its majority, because of course we're expecting one more Queen's speech before the next election. However, a Queen's speech before an election doesn't usually contain all of the seismic agendas of government. It's looking much more on retail policy rather than actual change and substantive policy. So this was probably the last substantive Queen's speech that we'll get in this Parliament. And there were one or two things that might not make the cost of living better, but changes that will not make the cost of living worse. For example, the government was going to, it had set out plans to ban buy one, get one free offers in shops for goods that were high in fat, sugar or salt. Well, the Queen's speech today in the small print has cancelled that ban. So we still will be able to get those buy one, get one free offers. That's part of the obesity strategy that was criticised to a large degree. So there are some small tweaks like that, but ultimately the big, broad brushstrokes are about the substantive issues that this government will be trying to create. Its legacy on levelling up, its British Bill of Rights, trying to stop the irritating protests of those who chain themselves to crucial national infrastructure. That is what this speech was about. Will it work? Well, we've got another parliamentary session to look through the detail.